So today we're going to be talking about employee development programs. Just want to thank you all for joining us today. Just a quick disclaimer, this presentation is for educational purposes only. It is not legal advice, and it does not create an attorney-client relationship. So we will have some information on the end about contacting us if you have specific questions. So you can get on with your day. We'll move through this information rather quickly. So why have employee development programs? Well, first off, what are employee development programs? An employee development program is similar to an employee training program in that it does encourage skill building among your employees. But employee development programs are different than employee training programs in that instead of being merely informative, employee development programs are making changes that widen the scope of your employees' ability to contribute to the organization. And they're really changing the strategic focus of your organization altogether. So instead of just training, which would be something such as safety training, where you would train an employee on the use of personal protective equipment, or you would train the employee on the use of a first aid kit and a defibrillator, or something like that. That would be considered an employee training program. And we're talking more about employee development programs, which are not just checking the boxes on a list of skills or a list of requirements that an employee specifically needs to complete a training. So this is something that it develops the employee's ability. It develops the employee's sort of focus on the organization and the organization's really ability to function as a whole and kind of have that, I'll talk about a little bit, that competitive edge that you're looking for in a kind of a way that is outside of the box to think about. So millennials and Gen Z workers in particular have really become disheartened by the current job market. And when surveyed, one of the most desirable factors of a job was not more PTO or remote work or a higher salary, like you would probably think, but one of the most desirable facets of a job was the ability to grow within the organization. So these workers may choose a job with lower pay when there is an opportunity for development within the organization over a higher paying job with no opportunity for development or growth. So these employees are motivated to develop throughout the organization and interacting with other team members and sharing new responsibilities. So employee development programs are going to attract these highly talented employees who have their choice in the job market, but like those employees who were polled, they value development and growth over other benefits. So you're really have the ability to attract these employees, millennial and Gen Z employees who are really kind of frustrated with the job market, and you will have the ability to kind of have your pick of the litter when you have employee development programs. So employee development programs make your organization more efficient and effective when you are getting the most out of your workplace or your workforce and you have better access to creative solutions. Again, that gives you an advantage in the market. So if you're developing your employees, you're making an investment in your organization that's going to lead to a higher retention rate, a better public image for potential customers, partners, and investors, efficiency, keeping labor costs down, stability, consistency, everything you need to rise above your competitors who are wasting talent and not investing in their workers, letting their workers perform work, but not actually letting their workforce work for them. So being able to attract the best of the best and cutting down on turnover is going to give you a big competitive edge. And a rise in employee morale is a big part of employee development programs. So employees feel valued when employers take the time to recognize their skills and efforts and personally invest in them. So employee development programs are the polar opposite of dead-end jobs. And this is what gives your employees the spark that makes them happy to show up on time, ready to work. The more you invest in your employees' development, the more your employees are going to invest in your organization with regard to their time, effort, attitude, compliance. When you apply them in accordance with fair, consistent criteria, employees receive the development that is right for them and do not waste time being envious of employees who are given new titles or responsibilities. High employee morale cuts down on attendance and performance deficiencies. And generally, this will result if there are attendance or performance issues and the consequences discontinuing the development plan. This will generally result in motivation and not in resentment. So types of employee development programs, supervisory and managerial department programs are the most common things we think of when we think of employee development programs. Many employers already have a formal development process in place to prepare employees who have shown managerial skills or a skill set beyond their current position or have the qualities that the organization looks for in a manager or supervisor, have enough tenure with the employer that moving into a managerial or supervisory role is the next step at that time. Supervisory and managerial development programs should be a combination of on-the-job work with a mentor and soft skills training outside of the work. So simply giving an employee a list of managerial duties is not an employee development program. A development program should encourage growth and competence in all areas needed to succeed as a newly developed employee. So a development program should not just be shadowing another worker and given an online training video. The program should be multifaceted, with the desired outcome being a newly developed employee across all aspects of their role and not just an employee who has learned by rote to do a new duty. Interdepartmental development programs enable employees to understand the purpose of other departments and work seamlessly on projects that require input or work from more than one department. Employees are developed to work to fully understand the role and the purpose of other departments in the organization, and may even develop skills that allow for cross coverage as needed. I'm not talking about taking a payroll employee and teaching them how to do an engineer's job. This is more developing an understanding of the sum of the organization's parts for efficiency and effectiveness. When employees are developed interdepartmentally, you're going to have better morale, more harmony, less discord in the organization, and you may discover skills an employee has that are better put to use in a role other than the role the employee is currently occupying. Intradepartmental development is similar. This is where you may lead to managerial training. This is intra-development programs ensure that everyone in the department is in the correct role and reporting relationship, and it's increasing communication and job satisfaction within the department. Again, this should not be one method, such as going through an online training and having one meeting. This should be a fully developed program. Social and team building development allows you to develop an employee whose social or organizational skills may be of great benefit to the organization in terms of employee retention and employee morale. If you have an employee who seems to be well liked by their peers and they are punctual and well organized, this might be the perfect employee to select for social and team building development. So you work with the employee to develop a program to provide employees with on and off the job activities, although off the job activities comes with their own risks. So please open a ticket and ask an attorney if you have concerns about off the job activities. But they can be developed to come up with things such as, activities, events, spirit days, sports pools, things like that. So you would develop the employee to have the confidence to address all of their peers and to determine what would be appropriate for a social or team building activity. You create your idea of a social and team building culture, and you devise an employee development program to develop the employee into implementing your vision. And this may take many shapes, but you do have to be consistent with your program, as you will do this with others, and employees must always be treated fairly and equally. Leadership development programs, very common. Plans could be purchased from many vendors on this. It is different than managerial training in that you are not necessarily moving the employee into a completely new role, but developing them as a leader to set examples for others and be available for questions and concerns that may be either easily resolved or need to be brought up to management. And this is a great way to retain employees who value development and growth in their employment. Public relations development. A public relations development program is a great way to develop employees who show the potential for public speaking, lecturing, doing things like webinars or doing presentations. You've got employees who seem like they have the public speaking skills, developing them into someone who can represent the company in person or through an online meeting in a professional way, developing those skills or those sort of budding skills is a great asset to the company. Sales development, if you've got a non-sales employee who is showing great skills to be successful in a sales role, sales development is a huge development program to take advantage of an employee who shows the kind of skills that would benefit the company as far as sales. Travel and satellite work development programs. So this is if you have an employee who's a very confident employee with strong social skills, training them to travel, to be the face of the company outside of the main office. Many employees see travel as a perk, so this is really good for employee morale. If you have an employee who you can train to represent the company outside of the main office, represent the company on their own. If you've got an employee who is confident and has strong social skills, having a travel and satellite work development program is a great idea to represent the company. Soft skills development. This is really important for employees who are not in a public or peer-facing job and may not ever had to be managed to interact with coworkers. So you may have employees who work very independently and are not used to collaborating with other employees. So soft skills development can develop them to have the kind of personal interaction skills, the sort of, it goes on over and above the harassment training, the discrimination training, and really developing them into practicing teamwork, into communicating well with other employees, and kind of just getting out there and coming out of their shell, being able to interact with their coworkers, and to ask for what they need in a way that's appropriate, and be open to soliciting assistance from other employees. This is something that's very important when you have employees who are used to working independently. So implementation of an employee development program, observe where you may see the opportunity for development. Survey your employees for their thoughts on development and development programs. When you come up with ideas on this, prioritize what type of development is going to be most beneficial at the time. And as you go through employee development programs, evaluate the success or the lack of success with the development programs, and change or shift as needed. So how can we help? We can advise you on compliance if you've got a legal compliance issue that you're concerned about with your employee development program. We can assist with performance management. Performance management plans is something that that we do, or advise on performance management if you've got an issue with an employee who has a performance issue. And we can always provide best practices information. So if you do have a concern that you may be going out and not kind of following best practices, you can always open a ticket in our Ask an Attorney portal. Or if you are not a client, you can email info@myhrcounsel.com. We'd be happy to tell you about our packages, how you can become a client and use our Ask an Attorney portal to get legal advice from a licensed employment law attorney. So I want to thank you for participating in the webinar today. I hope you all enjoy the rest of your day.